Hello. I propose that we are gathering our thoughts and our presence for further work. Please take your seats, otherwise we will be eating in the dinner time. So I guess we better start, although a lot of people still have to enter. But well, 1 minute, and then I expect that some people in the back office. Are you pushing people to come? Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay then. Well, I think I better start, otherwise we can keep on waiting. So my name is Jan Laros. I'm working at the DG Regio at the moment as a national expert coming from Belgium, Flanders. Recently I was a coordinator for industrial policy in Flanders region. We contributed a lot to the Vanguard initiative and other initiatives because for some years already I'm working on innovation policy, cluster policies, and smart specialization policies in particular. So this is also the main line of my contribution in the DG Regio Competence Center for Smart and Sustainable Growth. There I'm working on the further development of the smart specialization approach, together of course with the colleagues of the S3 platform and other colleagues. And this will now take the shape of the thematic smart specialization platforms. I'm also responsible for, let's say, coordinating this. And in this sense, this will be a thematic, the thematic smart specialization platform for this session. I have a lot of colleagues here that are contributing to the setup of, I think, a very important discussion that's under the heading of smart specialization and value chain. A lot of presentations already before indicated the importance of having a bigger framework, value chain, for, let's say, coming out of an inward-looking implementation and design of smart specialization strategies to a more open approach in which smart specialization is a focus for your own priorities in the context of the broader world, in the context of aligning and of complementarity with other smart specializations so that you can make your own purpose, in fact, to contribute to solutions, economic valuable solutions for the needs of regions, of people, that these contributions to this value chain for new needs, new value chains, should be then, in fact, a combination of efforts of regions to focus on their strengths. So this is more or less the framework. I will expand a little bit further on that because I have a dual role. I have to be the moderator, and I can also have the benefits for setting the scene. And in this sense, I have to control my own time. But I guess taking, of course, the 2 hours that we now still have, more or less, that will be 50 minutes for each of us, more or less. So in the remaining part, my own part, I also try to stick to these 15 minutes. Of course, you cannot cover everything, but then we have also 50 minutes for discussion. It makes an equal part for all components of this session. So, okay, yeah, that's the title of my presentation. It's about operationalization, value chain approach, and cooperation through thematic smart specialization platforms. So I will, in fact, focus on this. So the three key concepts of what I'm trying to introduce as a scene-setting presentation is thematic smart specialization platforms. So what's all about value chain approach and operationalization through interregional cooperation. So in fact, we have to see that our session is making the bridge from success stories, different level, to the last session of the day. What is the role of macro-region strategies in making things happen, and how can smart specialization indeed also accelerate the implementation of the smart macro-region strategies? So this interregional cooperation is then playing a very important strategic role in making things accelerate. It's in this sense that the value chain approach is a framework, a policy framework that is offering opportunities to accelerate indeed the internal focus of each regional contribution. And the thematic smart specialization platform is now shaped as just an instrument, a mechanism to make that happen, to increase the outward-looking perspective of smart specialization implementation. I could say it's more or less the next big thing. It's more about the next step after the ST platform established a very important service in the design stage. Now it's more about the mechanism of increasing the focus and increasing the capacity to invest in value chain perspective, making a co-investment, a co-creation of value chains and of business opportunities possible. So we'll more or less cover this framework, in which other colleagues, of course, will also expand more. In particular, Valentina will talk about the role already. It's already happening, this interregional cooperation with the smart specialization focus of the Wenger initiative in setting the scene, indeed, as a political commitment to make things happen. Leda is talking about the role of a leading region to make things move, and the role of, let's say, political authorities to also give speed up the process. Then Lydia, I think, is more focusing on the role of clusters, because it's quite important to see the synergy between smart specialization and clusters. And Alesh, I think, is a very good closing part, because he will, well, more or less integrate all kinds of things in the perspective, indeed, of this international cooperation. Possibly that his region is very eager to develop this internationalization perspective. Okay. Where are these thematic smart specializations coming from? It started, in fact, more or less as a driver with the Smart Regions Conference. I think a lot of people might already have been there in June. It was announced as the next step for implementation, because this is now the case. We have these strategies, 120 strategies ready. How to implement this in a more targeted way was then the initiative of the Commission to help out the focusing of these strategies on specific themes. Which themes? Energy. Energy transition, of course, is a major priority in many RIS3 domains. Of course, it's also a very important agenda point for the Commission. Energy transition is an enormous source of opportunities. So this is already started a year ago, and now is coming close to setting up partnerships in specific areas, and this will be also announced and further developed in the context of the European regions and cities, the week of European regions and cities, next week, in fact. No, 2 weeks. Then agri-foods is also a priority that covers the concerns and the commitment of regions to invest in this field. A lot of diverse regions, and I think about 84 regions have indicated this as one of their priorities. Industrial modernization, of course, is an important topic for the future of Europe and the regions, and it's covering a lot of items, but it's seen as a type of Industry 4.0 approach, and the approach of being competitive and keeping industry as a motor of development of the future. So this is what we see as implementation of RIS3 priority areas, setting up these thematic platforms as an instrument, and linking this to others, so that interregional cooperation might bring critical mass, might also indicate where duplication can occur, and in this sense can contribute to strategic priorities for the regions and for Europe, where a lot of other measures will then be supportive. And at the end, that's the most important thing, will increase the focus and the quality also of smart specialization investments. That's indeed very important to stress that the setup of these thematic smart specialization platforms are to be considered as the entrepreneurial discovery process at the European level. It's setting up the mechanism in which the commitment of these actors are co-creating the opportunities in the sense that they will refine sometimes broad domains in the regions. They will also help the Commission to better understand the dynamics in which these instruments of the Commission might be the most productive. In this sense, it's a kind of new governance, a joint initiative indeed, by different Commission services for energy with DG's Energies and DG Grow and DG GRC, for agri-food with, of course, agricultural policy and research policy. Industrial modernization was started with announcement by Commissioner Jankowska of the cooperation between DG Grow in the industry and DG Regio, supported of course by GRC, but it also will involve DG Connect and DG Research. So this is very important, the bundling, looking for synergies in the operationalization of support instruments, and I will talk about that. And setting up indeed with the regions dynamics of leading transformations in important areas where they see the advantage in specific focus areas. And that's important to see too, that this is a joint approach within the Commission, but also within the regions more and more, between smart specialization strategy development and cluster policy development. I think we see everywhere that this goes closely together, but a kind of new cluster policy, much more targeted, and also a smart specialization strategy that is very much linked to the capacity of involving business. This is what is going to happen, is already happening. This in these smart specialization platforms already established, and maybe some to come, we will find a kind of co-creation, you could say, with the initiative of launch call for expression for formation of European strategic cluster partnerships for smart specialization, meaning alliances of cluster organizations that find a specific domain interesting to develop indeed opportunities for their actors to meet. Of course, not only business, but research actors. Infrastructure will be very important to demonstrate what are these opportunities where you have to focus and where you can develop joint initiatives for piloting new solutions. So the framework approach, I will not go in too much in detail because it's of course a full agenda. Here we talk about the value chain, not so much as the traditional managerial approach of global value chains where you consider the position of Apple, how they've used the Chinese as supplier and they can, let's say, capture the value, things like that are very important to know. This is the background. Background for a more, let's say, policy-oriented framework in which we map in this context the role of, let's say, political entities, countries, regions, to be part of this value capturing. So, and to see this from this role of facilitate combinations of intermediary inputs to co-produce solutions, co-investments, this is what we are trying to use then as the starting point to facilitate the connections, because we see indeed a lot of fragmentation in the value chains because of all kinds of market situations, market failures it's called, short-term focus, disconnection of course because of the lack of information, asymmetries has been mentioned. So this is uncertainties that are very, very, let's say, hampering the investment decisions. So integrating the technology push approach that we already know with the demand pull approach in a value chain is much more effective than just push or just call for actions for societal challenges. So this really directed approach in value chains might be much more beneficial. If it is a business perspective, if we have the complementary actors, not so much the competitors around the table. If indeed, we see also the regional authorities and the clusters as the active components in the orchestration of this new value chains. Not only the multinationals that just decide, they will decide in function of the attractiveness of local investment conditions. And this is in the hands of all actors, but if they combine their smart specializations as a kind of coordination of, let's say, putting together the picture for how Europe is an interesting investment area with specific focus areas, this would be a much stronger bit. So this is what companies do, that this international roadmap devices and systems for electronic industry, they really do that mapping of what is happening, what is going to be the role of the different components, and the law of more that predicts more or less a doubling of capacity is organized more or less by the industry if they put their expectations together, how will be the next steps. And then we see the regions seeing what is our part in this value chain. This is the political part of it. So mapping, it will also be the case for the thematic smart specialization platform for the regions. It's an important element. So setting up this type of interaction, implementing, cooperation, mapping, and matching actors. So I have to speed up a little bit. The thematic smart specialization platforms are working based indeed starting from these broad areas that have been identified with unknown background sometimes if regions are talking about agro-food or something. So that we have to find out. This is a starting point. It will combine, of course, not only the regional priorities, but also, as you understood, the context where there is a lot of strategy development already at Horizon, with the GTIs, with the Horizon projects, and of course with the overall agenda priorities of the Commission, digital single market and things like that. But concretely, what we think can accelerate is that there are lead regions that are stepping forward and will propose expression of interest in starting, continuing a partnership in just this perspective, a specific value chain approach in which they want to investigate complementarities, investment that they can put together for piloting, demonstrating new solutions, and how the Commission, how other regional and national authorities can indeed accelerate their investment planning or needs for specific, let's say, instruments. So mapping is important, cooperation, business plan, investment projects. This is the investment pipeline approach. It's not only about policy learning, about benchmarking, about discussion and networking in an open space. It also should lead to a narrowing down to the level of smart specialization investments of the money already available and of the additional private funds that also can be mobilized through the investment plan for Europe, as you know, the FC as the other part of it. It's happening. Valentina will talk about it. It's inspired by the Venget initiative, focusing on upscaling indeed of their efforts in learning, connecting, demonstrating, and commercializing specific needs, specific opportunities. And this investment pipeline indeed can be seen as, and we'll do it with the pilot case, as a methodology that builds further on this upscaling methodology of finding common grounds in mapping and matching, in fact, the actor field, connecting this field and identify demonstration areas where close to market can attract SMEs, other companies, to, well, jointly try to solve some challenges, to go to the market and to reach out to customers, to clients that also can participate in such kind of demonstration spaces. So this is the entrepreneurial discovery space. This demonstration space is not only about technology demonstration, it's demonstrating the, say, the clear articulation of the need, demonstrating also the need for standards, for industry interoperational needs. It's also demonstrating the need for specific education and training. So this demonstration in a large systemic sense, and it needs indeed a full mobilization, a full range of instruments to be successful. So it starts from a picture. So this is the 3D printing value chain, very, very broad. You start with materials, you have to print, of course. You start with designers, machinery, and it's all these components come together in the process. There are different processes depending on the technology, depending on the application fields. But it's very important to see what are the leading edge applications, because these are the drivers for, in fact, mobilizing investment. And mapping the actors in this field, seeing the gaps, looking at particular value chains where you can, in fact, attract attention for other players. This will be co-creating the market, because the market for 3D printing is, talk about it already for decades, and some areas are developing, but the potential is huge and is underexploited because of the lack of integration of the value chain. This is then the methodology for the thematic areas and the thematic smart specialization platform, systematically as a kind of, say, opportunity for support instruments, but not needed. But this is more or less the experience of the Vanguard Initiative, more or less put as a methodology for everyone who wants to join. So this is support at this moment. It's evolving. We have a lot of analytical support, street platform, of course, but there are other platforms, maybe a little bit too much even, that all cover different elements. The CATS observatory, the cluster observatory, they all have different elements of our governance and our ecosystem approach that we need to know about what kind of intelligence we have to put into motion. Experts, we always need good experts. There will be more experts, targeted experts for specific needs. And of course, it's very important for the discovery process to have best state-of-the-art methodology. And the funding, of course, is very important. It will develop. And I just want to raise your attention for the Digital Innovation Hubs. Digital Innovation Hubs is a new project to connect competence centers in digitalization throughout Europe, mobilize extra 5 billion investment, but in a networked smart specialization perspective. These are colleagues of DG Connect acknowledge it should be linked to smart specialization of the regions, of their capacities already existing and their intentions. So I can more or less end with this type of conceptual framework, how you can see at this moment an evolution in the setup of innovation funnels, where we see that our social challenges and technology revolutions are drivers. At the other hand, we want to have markets and transformation, and we need a methodology. And in the center is indeed the joint demonstration. This is what we can see as a very important new development thanks to the Vanguard Initiative, and will be really, scaled up by the thematic smart specialization platforms. It's about sharing facilities. It's about implying also the role for certification, standardization, of course, testing and piloting, showing that something is possible or not possible, adapting. So this is what companies need, certainly those that are very close to the market and are hesitating to invest. And therefore, indeed, the central role of networked joint demonstration is something that will be very important in the next year to materialize. Next year is this. It's about, yes, kickoff events for this industrial modernization, for agro-food. It's about setting up the cluster conference, and it's about calling for you expression of interest for potential lead regions, potential lead domains, to come together, to announce this, to start the process, and to build trust and confidence, and to see, for example, what is the role of macro-regions. How can macro-regions be a kind of launch pad for specific proximity-based parts of this value chain that enter into a bigger picture that will be accelerated in the platforms. So, that's, I think, was too long, but anyway, I hope it has brought a framework in which I invite now Valentina put some flavor of vanguards.
Hello, everybody. My name is Valentina Pinna. I'm working for Lombardy region. I'm responsible for research innovation and for the participation of Lombardy region in Vanguard. Before showing the video, I have a presentation. Okay. So basically, which is the link between our smart specialization strategy and Vanguard. So basically, Vanguard for Lombardy region is a tool for the internationalization of our smart specialization platform. It's a tool to help our clusters to go international, to reinforce themselves, to cooperate with other actors. When Flanders launched the Vanguard, we were one of the first 10 regions that joined and co-developed this approach. So basically, what is Vanguard? Vanguard, in the framework of EU value chain, is an initiative, a coalition of European regions that are committed to enhancing growth and competitiveness of their companies through inter-regional cooperation, co-investments, and industrial innovation along European value chains. In order to make my presentation a little bit more interesting, I want to show you a video. Because in the framework of the activities that we have developed with Vanguard, we have developed 2 videos. Wait, I think, I don't know if there is the audio. Oh, the video works, but I don't know if... wait, because... no. Is there any technical assistance in the room? Okay, maybe, no. Not working. Okay, sorry. I checked if the video could be available, but...
gather to prepare for industrial growth initiatives. It is their second time to gather in...
Wait, let's start again. So it was...
less than 3 months. First, they were 10...
Okay, so...
January 30th. Top representatives from different European regions gather to prepare for industrial growth initiatives. It is their second time to gather in less than 3 months. First they were 10, by now they are 15 and still growing in numbers. Their host is the Flemish Minister-President Chris Peters. Flanders is pioneering with new industrial policy. The Vanguard initiative, New Growth Through Smart Specialization, is a political initiative of EU regions. The regions are committed to playing an active role in multi-level governance, inciting a renaissance of industry. In order to support a new industrial growth initiative for Europe, they intend to lead by example in inter-regional collaborations. Today they all sign an open letter to the President of the European Council, hoping to inspire and influence the policy debate at the European Council. That Council is about to discuss the role and operationalization of new European industrial policies. In its letter to the European Council, the Vanguard Initiative expresses its ambition to promote and more effectively coordinate industrial and innovation policies in Europe. The regions are convinced that their smart specialization strategies and the bottom-up industry-driven partnerships bring about new industrial growth. Enterprises and regional clusters need effective coordination of European, national and regional instruments to foster new industrial growth.
welcome in particular
The partners in the Vanguard initiative New Growth through Smart Specialization share the ambition to be a front runner in new European industrial growth initiatives and to lead by example. They are convinced Europe's industry needs to align strategic roadmaps and investments in order to upgrade regional clusters into world-class clusters. 2 months from now, the European leaders will discuss industry, energy and climate. It will then be clear to what extent the concerns of the Vanguard initiative will have been taken into consideration.
So, as you can see, basically, it's behind there is a political commitment of, oh, wait, I'm a little bit lost. This is my presentation. I want to show something else, but
Multitasking is something we wouldn't.
yes. Okay, well. Is the political commitment, but because in reality there was another video. Okay, it's we have no access to internet anymore. I believe. Okay, but in any case, let's come back to the presentation. The link with the value chains is basically this interregional cooperation. In concrete, how Vanguard works. We have how we identify our value chains. Basically, we have 5 pilots that emerged from a bottom-up process. Basically, at a political level, we have this political commitment that it has been shown in the video. And at operational level, we have regional representatives that are working together on daily basis. And those people have a structured dialogue with the Commission. Smart specialization is our coordination principle. It's the coordination principle for our smart specialization platforms. And with the bottom-up approach, the regional actors, clusters, public entities, like regional development agencies, innovation actors, enterprises, together, they identify the strength that every region has and how they can cooperate together. They identify areas for cooperation within pilots, and within pilots we have demo cases. So in total now we have 5 pilots and 27 demo cases. What are the pilots? Basically are industry-led opportunities in the framework of key enabling technologies. Basically are areas where interregional collaboration and co-investment could result in the creation of EU value chains. The objective is what Jan was saying, basically is to create a pipeline of investment, to generate proposal that can be translated in jointly funded projects or pilots. The conditions for this cooperation is the industrial leadership, the fact that there is a market potential for upscale our project and investments. There is the possibility for the uptake of research results and bringing research results to the market. We ask our companies to identify technologies at least at the technology readiness 5 or 6 in order to bring them to the market. And the objective is to boost EU value chains through smart specialization. Those are the 5 pilots that emerged so far in the framework of Vanguard. high-performance production through 3D printing, efficient and sustainable manufacturing, advanced manufacturing for energy applications in harsh environments, bioeconomy, nano-enabled products. And within the 5 pilots, we have identified specific demo cases. Demo cases are part of value chains. And it's not, let's say, the people who identify the areas for cooperation are not the regions, but the regional stakeholders, the companies. Basically, we started focusing on companies. We started asking them on what we could be useful for them in order to increase their competitiveness. And basically, they explained us that basically the competitiveness is linked to value chain activities, to input and outputs of the production process, where value chains affect also cost and profits. So being part of the European value chains help them to reduce costs and to increase profits. So it helps them to increase competitiveness. An important thing is the fact that with the bottom-up process in the identification of topics for cooperation, we give them the possibility to work on what it's really useful for increasing their competitiveness. The methodology that was mentioned by Jan, and it is the methodology developed by Vanguard, is articulated in 4 steps: learn, connect, demonstrate, and commercialize. And here you can see a little bit different steps. In the learn phase, basically regions together, they identified through a scoping paper, a questionnaire, which are the potential and the gaps for cooperation. They identify the lead actors, which are the capabilities, the capacities, opportunities for cooperation. After we go through a connect phase, where we organize matchmaking events between intermediaries organization at the beginning and after between companies. And basically, on the basis of those interactions that are not occasional, but they are, let's say, structured interaction between clusters, we identify the potential for reinforcing existing value chains, or to complete existing value chains, or to create new value chains. Thanks to the pilot projects, we identified joint demonstration initiatives that can help companies to bring research results to the market. So now, let's say, in the framework of the 5 pilots, we have 27 demo cases, and two of them are in the demonstration phase. They have just started. They are looking for funding in order to implement those 3 stages that are missing before commercialization. And the last stage will be, of course, close to the market, so it will be a responsibility of each single company to bring a specific research to the results to the market. But now we really need to support them in this demonstration phase, also creating multi-level funding synergies. After 2 years where we worked more at level of intermediate involvement of intermediate organization, cluster organization, science parks, regional development agencies, in February we organized a big matchmaking with companies where we had more than 400 participants from 30 different regions. And we organized several bilateral meetings between companies, and this helped very much to better define the demo cases and to go through, accelerate the process toward the definition of business plans. As you can see, our demo cases are at a different level of development, but two of them have already developed a business plan, and I've started a dialogue with the EIB. Just an example on one of those two demo cases that are more advanced in terms of development of value chain. So basically, we have started from the identification of problems. The companies told us which are the problems. The knowledge centers, universities, research centers that have the know-how have identified the potential solutions to those problems. And the platform for demonstration will help companies to demonstrate the validity of the technologies that have been identified. And once the validity of those technologies will be demonstrated in this joint facility, the companies will have the possibility to uptake those results of the demonstration phase and to scale up at industrial level in their facilities. In order to do that, just to show you how we did, basically in each region was identified a certain capability, a certain potential, and a potential node for the development of the demonstration facilities. So the goal will be to create a networked system of demonstration facilities where companies, despite where independent, let's say, the companies from all the regions companies from all the regions will have the possibility to accede to the demo facilities that are based in different countries. So from one single entry point, the regional cluster, they have the possibility to demonstrate the validity of certain technology in a specific region, where the capability and the infrastructure is available. Here you can see a little bit the grouping of regions that have expressed an interest in a specific value chain. And basically, those pilots are generators of new industrial pilots. So this was a concrete example of how Vanguard is working. And basically, Vanguard is a clear example of the power of connected regional innovation ecosystems and of the added benefit that can be achieved within EU value chains. Just to conclude, what I want to say, in addition to that, is that in terms of lessons learned from a regional perspective, that basically involvement in Vanguard help regional cluster to become more strong, to be able to cooperate internationally, to better connect industry with universities, with research centers. It helps to internationalize the activities, in particular the activity of SMEs, and also to link SMEs to the value chains of bigger companies. Each region can find their place in those value chains, or at the beginning of the value chain, for example, providing raw materials for a production process, providing knowledge, technological solutions, or providing, for example, concrete places where to create an infrastructure for demonstration, or providing end users, because sometimes it's also useful to aggregate potential end users in order to demonstrate the validity of a technology to reduce the risks for companies. So this is a little bit what we learned so far from this process, and also the importance of the bottom-up approach. As this morning was said by the person from World Bank, involving the private sector and the private stakeholders can help to reduce the risk of the choices linked to smart specialization. So Vanguard is a clear example of that. Thank you.
I think it's worthwhile to focus on different elements. And thank you, Valentina, for this story. Next story is in fact from a regional perspective, not by accident, region that is now at this moment having the chair of the Vanguard Initiative. It's a kind of rolling chairpersonship. And I guess we have now inside information on how Emilia-Romagna is dealing with smart.
If I succeed to move, where is the technical assistance? Missing?
You have a presentation?
Yeah, this one. Bologna. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for the invitation. And I'm Leda Bologni. My company is Aster, that is the Regional Innovation Agency in Emilia-Romagna, here in Italy. And Aster is the consortium among the universities that are located in our region, the national research centers in Italy, and the regional government. So we are a sort of experimental triple helix organization. And concerning S3, we are the technical partner of Regione Emilia-Romagna concerning innovation in all the dimensions of innovation, from agriculture to skills and school and economic development. First of all, just to give you an overview of the time in which we have worked. Because give me the possibility to be back. The title of my presentation is this, and there are two keywords in the title. The first one is implementation, and the second one is evolution. Those two keywords give to you my intentions that are to show you what we have done in the last 4 years and what we are going to do in the next year, especially for the interim revision of our strategy that is foreseen for 2018. So the time of this exercise started in 2012 when the regional government started to work in the S3 definition, and at the same time Aster managed the entrepreneurial discovery process in our region in order to identify the priorities to be included in the strategy, in the smart specialization, the regional smart specialization. And so the S3 was closed in the end of 2013 and was approved in the first stage in 2014 with a small, with a couple of actions plan for specific content. And finally it was approved in the first months of this year, 2016, but in the meantime we launched the first call for proposal last year. So we are now one half a day a year of leave of such strategy. So I'm in the position to show you what we have done until now. And so just to give you an idea of the framework of Emilia-Romagna region, here you can see some figures. What is important is that we are, let me say, a developed region with a GDP that is 1/3 higher than the European average. And the other important thing in which I want to stress your attention is the number of companies. We have a large amount of companies of quite small dimensions. So this is the characteristic of our region. During the elaboration of smart specialization in our region, we have identified 5 vertical specialization areas. Here you can see the list, and 4 horizontal drivers that cross-cut the sectoral. This word is not very right, but just to understand the vertical specialization areas. They are sustainable development, low carbon economy, or sustainability, the theme of healthy and the quality of life, the ICT, and innovation in services. It means innovation in all those tasks that are not connected with the production. I mean, from design to post-sales, maintenance, and distribution, and so on, logistics, and so on. So this is the basic framework. And in this basic framework, we have organized and managed, because Aster was organizing this exercise, the entrepreneurial discovery process. What we have done, we have, let me say, used the existing ecosystem that is a result of more than 10 years of investment, of public investments in innovation in our region. At that moment, we had more or less 75 organizations that are part of the regional ecosystem. They are applied research labs, innovative companies, startup, and so on, that are were organized, and until now they are organized in thematic platforms, in 6 thematic platforms. Together with them, we have organized working groups, including companies of different size, dimension, sectors, because what was important is cross-fertilization among them, and other regional stakeholders. As an example, innovation centers, a foundation, and of course policymakers. And we organized working groups that worked on the basis of the global megatrend, on the basis of the societal challenges. We have to understand that in 2012, Horizon 2020 did not exist. So we were thinking about societal challenges, megatrends, and CREARE-enabling technologies. So, and of course, science and technology state-of-the-art. So with such ingredients, the working groups produced the position papers, 5 position papers for the 5 specialization areas that we have selected. Such position papers, so the number of people included in this exercise was 150. The position papers have been presented in a public event with more than 300 participants, and system for public consultation on a website, public consultation have been launched, and it was open for 1.5 months. And at the end, the priorities have been composed by 19 themes organized in the 5 specialization areas, and 53 technologies that are connected with such themes. So after that, during the strategy implementation, what happened? What is happening now? The first point is that we have fed an important expectations from our territory, because the process was completely new and very well accepted by our territory. So and now what we have to do? We are ready to put in place what we have programmed and defined. But the problem was, and is, that we have very limited amount of funds. Consider that for thematic objective 1, so research and innovation, we have 140 millions from 2014 to 2020, so they are the only funds that we have, and they have been already spent. And this is the occasion for me to show you one system. This is unfortunately in Italian, but I think it's quite easy to understand. This is the dashboard, the monitoring dashboard of our smart specialization strategy. Here, this is an online system in which you can see for each specialization area, as an example, agri-food, several indicators. They are, so I have no time to show you, but what is important is that we are able in real time to see, for example, how many are the investments for that have been recorded and included in the smart specialization implementation. They are the result of the call for proposal that have been launched. Here you can see they are the 4 themes for the agri-food. They, in the entrepreneurial discovery process, we have planned to have 4 important themes. But what is the meaning of this monitor, of this dashboard? It means that there are 2 themes that are very required by our territory, and 2 that are not so much. And probably in the meantime, in 4 years, there are other themes to be added. So this is a very important point, the monitoring. This morning I have not seen this word in the sessions, but this is a very important point, because through the monitoring system we are able to understand what is going on and then to know what to do in positive or in negative situation. So what is important here is that I go back, is that at the moment we have already spent 80 millions, so 50%, and so we have not enough money to arrive to 2020 and give support to our companies. So what is important is also to have a leverage effect. One of the aim of the strategy is to facilitate access to other funds. So this is an important point from our perspective. Another possibility is, of course, I have already mentioned, the revision of the strategy that is upcoming for us in 1.5 years late. In Italy, in the meantime, happened some other quite interesting situation from our perspective. The first one is the national S3. This is a quite strange situation in Italy, as innovation is a so-called cooperative responsibility among the regions and the national part. We have several regional, in Italy we have several regional strategies and one national strategy. So this in Italy was quite difficult to establish such national part of the smart specialization strategy, but now we have. So this strategy gave us additional opportunities, especially from the point of view of multi-regional collaboration. So it's another opportunity for us. The second point is the National Program for Research and Innovation that has been just launched and give other opportunity. Of course, I have to mention the Juncker plan and other trans-regional cooperation that are available. So what we have to do now? From our perspective, there are 2 things that we have to do. The first one is enlarge the critical mass of our groups in order to facilitate the access to other opportunities, and then also to combine funds, because in that way we can move in the different point of the technology readiness level using different opportunities, combining them in order with sharing a common objective. So what we want to do and what we are doing now in those weeks is move from platforms to value chains. What it means for us? First of all, to increase the proximity to the market. So moving from the research-driven to innovation-driven community. We have spoken a lot about the avoiding too much focus on research, but I have to admit that is still present. So we have to work in this direction more and more. And so and as an example, Vanguard is one example trying to move to in the direction of the market. Another point is the impact on regional economy. From our perspective, it means to have more subjects that work together. So we have a lot, we are very much interested in systemic effect, not so much on giving the possibility to improve the competitiveness of a single company. From our perspective, it's more important to have a system that moves together ahead. So from this perspective, it's very important the regional impact that have to be more and more improved. Of course, the companies need to be more and more present in our model. The examples that in which we are working on is this. Here you can see the 6 thematic platforms that give, let me say, the competence backbone for our ecosystem. And this is a given specialization area, agri-food as an example. We have organized and we have asked through a new entrepreneurial discovery process that we are running now in these weeks, several value chains that are partially based on the results that we have seen in the monitoring in the dashboard system, and partially, yes, 1 minute, yes, and partially in new emerging topics that in the last 4 years have been are present. So several value chains that are combined with the 6 thematic platform together with companies at the moment. So this is a completely bottom-up approach because it's based only on what our territory need and want to do. At the moment, we are working in 23 value chains. We are the work is in progress, so we are not sure that at the end of the process still remain 23. They can become 20 or 19 or maybe 25. I don't know now because we are working on in these days. That's all. I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Yes, when it starts to come concrete, we have to go to another subject that we come back, of course. Thank you, Elena. That next speaker also has this perspective of the complete working with cluster perspective.
So, good afternoon. My name is Lydia Lesseverny. I thank you for this invitation to this panel, and I will deal with new clusters connected to our region specialization areas. I am Deputy Director for the Industry, Tourism and Cooperation Department of the Friuli Venezia Giulia region, and I am also in charge of the managing authority of our regional operation program co-funded with the European Regional Development Fund for 2014-2020. And we cooperate with other departments of our region in, how can I say, shaping the S3 process for the Friuli Venezia Giulia region. Today, as I said, I will speak about new clusters connected to our specialization areas because we think that this is a process. S3 has been a very important process for our region, and as a bottom-up effect, I can say now we are reorganizing also the thematic areas in clusters, as I will explain now. First of all, I think that it's important to provide you an overview of our specialization areas and trajectories of development. And I know that also my colleague Segatti has told you something about this in the morning, but now we can see it from another point
from here is also built-in intelligence, and probably there's a very, very large demand also for implementation of artificial intelligence in the future. So thank you very much, and if there's any questions or open debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think this was a very lively illustration of the fact that value chains indeed are changing, and there are huge opportunities and also challenges for companies and for regions to be part of this big data environment. Anyway, so if machines are going to talk, then possibly we will exceed still more the time available for discussion. But, well, I don't know if you have the general view. There will be a next session in 10 minutes or whatever. So, small pause. We can have 2 or 3 questions. Okay, I see that Mario is waving.
Yes, my question is to the last speaker and to this Vanguard initiative as well. There's a lot of promise, of course, from these new technologies in terms of efficiency. But I noticed the accent was put more on the low-cost competitiveness, rather in terms of creating higher value added, which could then generate more demand for more sophisticated products, creating more jobs. I think jobs is one of the big issues here, and there will be a trade-off with digitalization, and some jobs will change and others will disappear, and new ones will be emerge, like you said, for the data scientists or the IT people. But there is, I think we have to keep in mind that, you know, efficiency and effectiveness is only one part of the benefits, and we have to balance that with in terms of creating jobs and more demand. So I don't know if you have any reactions to that.
There is a big talk about also sociological impact of the Industry 4.0. At this moment, digitalization is still, I would say, job generator. So you can, because of this flexibility, you can expect that there will be more jobs, more productivity, and more demand. But you never know when this will turn around. So if all the things will be smart, robots will be smart, everything can be done automatically. Where there's a point where you don't need human workers anymore. So
that's the point of the political discussions already for months and
yes, in the future. It's starting a little bit to happen. It's for now, at this point, most of the companies face lack of staff, not too much staff. They need skilled workers, they need skilled engineers, and they cannot get it. But as you know, maybe in 10 years, because of all this, this can turn around. So at that point, we have to be ready and have some solutions implement for this, that the production and the efficiency of the production could be risen to such a level that it will produce much more than that we need, and much more that people are needed into the production of this.
Anyway, I think this is part of demonstration, meaning what is the societal impact of new production environments, extending, of course, to new services, because the production, as you know, in agriculture also has shrunken, but we are still eating, and quite a lot of our budget is spent on that. Anyway, so this is a very important discussion. Thank you, Mario, for raising this question. I suppose OECD is going to handle, to also, let's say, contribute to the setting of these discussions. Yes.
Just one question to Vanguard. You said you had like 23 pilots and then 2 demonstration projects, and all the regions had access to those demonstrations. I just wonder, how do you then manage the IPRs in those projects? How is that done? Perhaps it's just to get a better feel. Thanks.
Yes. We have 5 pilots, and under each pilot we have demo cases. Demo cases are restricted environments where companies cooperate together. At the beginning of the process, those are open. Once the collaboration is, let's say, evolving toward a business plan, of course the cooperation gets closed. So at the beginning everybody can participate. Once we are closer to the implementation of this demonstration or to the commercialization. Of course, we are also facing the problems of IPR, of other issues regarding confidentiality, etc. So the club are closed. So it's at the beginning it's an open process. The pilot is the open environment where everybody can participate. Once they become demo cases, all those issues are taken into consideration. Another issue concerning the question of the other person. So you were asking which is the impact on the creation of jobs of this fact that we are going to increase, we want to increase efficiency and effectiveness of the production processes, introducing new technologies, ICT, digitalization, etc. From a Vanguard point of view, what we ask when a pilot is proposed is also to tell us which will be the potential impact. Potential impact in terms of economic growth, job creation, environmental impact, and societal impact. So this is why some of the pilots are linked to a societal challenge. For example, efficient and sustainable manufacturing, we are asking them to explain us why they want to invest on this, but also which will be the impact. Given that we are investing public money, we are, okay, the public sector can define the priorities on what they have to cooperate, but they also have to explain us which is the impact that this investment will have, and which will be the benefit for the public, why we should invest on those pilots. And so they have to demonstrate with numbers and figures the potential impact in terms of job creation, environmental impact, societal impact.
Good. So this is an integrated approach. Are we completely integrated now, or is there still some loose ends somebody wants to take up? Then I think we have covered quite some substance, and now we have to cover some liquids, I guess. So please, thank you all for participating and for, of course, maintaining your concentration. Thank you.
What's the problem? Because it was a wrong video. But in the
You wanted to have the new video.
So, but when there was this technical problem with the audio, I pushed on the wrong button, and so I started with the wrong video. Because
It's a pity. So bad to see that, in fact, this.
Because I didn't want to talk about the political engagement, because it was not but it was the wrong video, but okay.
See that when the realize this ambitions now.